Welcome into Texans Today. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Today, we're going to be reacting to some NFL mock drafts, namely two of some of the biggest names in NFL draft media. Mel Kiper Jr. and Daniel Jeremiah released their latest NFL mock drafts last week. I'll be revealing who they have the Texans taking at number 2 and number 12 overall in the first round of this year's NFL draft. But first, do me a favor, click that subscribe button. Right now, Texans Today is competing against 3 other new channels here at Chat Sports. Only one of them is going to get a full-time channel, and right now, Texans Today is in the lead when it comes to subscribers. And here's the thing, guys. My bosses are telling me that the channel with the most subs is going to get the full-time channel. Right now, we have that title, but we have to keep it up here. The other channels are definitely close on our back, so we need to keep adding to the lead here. So do that right now by clicking that subscribe button. So now let's get into the Godfather himself here, Mel Kiper Jr., and his latest NFL mock draft, where he has the Carolina Panthers taking C.J. Stroud first overall, which then opens the door for the Texans to get Alabama quarterback and former Heisman winner Bryce Young. Now, personally, guys, I'm a huge fan of Bryce Young. I think he's the number 1 quarterback in this year's draft class. I think the Texans would be incredibly lucky to get this young man on their roster. You take a look at what he did last season. 64.5 completion percentage, over 3,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. This guy is a special talent, man, and I believe he is that guy in this year's class. Now, there's guys in this year's class that could turn out to be really good quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud is one of those guys. Will Levis is the type of guy, and same thing with Anthony Richardson, kind of more raw talents, but they certainly have the physical talent to develop into some of the best QBs in the game today. But I think when you look at Bryce Young, I think you're looking at somebody that has a special feel for the game. Now, he is tiny, like just barely taller than Kyler Murray. And the thing with Bryce Young, guys, is that unlike Kyler Murray, who has those quick feet, does a great job at avoiding big hits, Bryce Young doesn't really do that. He takes a ton of big hits, and that really, really concerns me given his size. And it's definitely possible that Bryce Young, although he's a special talent, he could be injured his entire career. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Which quarterback do you want the Texans to draft in round 1, right there at number 2 overall? Do you like Anthony Richardson? Do you like Will Levis, C.J. Stroud, or Bryce Young? Which guy do you want to be the next QB1 of the Houston Texans? Let me know in the comments section right now. Then at number 12 overall, Mel has the Texans taking speedster Nolan Smith out of Georgia. Now, this guy was the number 1 high school prospect in his high school class, and that shows for a reason, man. This guy is the freak among freaks, man. This guy ran a 4.39 at the NFL Combine, and he was throwing stuff. He was so mad at himself for running just a 4.39 because he knows that he can run faster. This guy is, like I said, the freak among freaks. This guy, at the beginning of this process, was seen more of like a late first rounder, but after the athletic testing at the NFL Combine, this guy has been soaring up draft boards, and he might not even be here for the Texans at number 12, if I'm being frank. This guy is a fantastic talent. The physical upside with Nolan Smith is absolutely off the charts, and the Texans would be incredibly lucky to add him to their roster. Now let's shift over to Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 3.0 released last week, and in this one, it's flip-flop with the quarterbacks. Bryce Young goes to the Panthers at number 1, and in his, C.J. Stroud lands with the Houston Texans. Now, C.J. Stroud, to me, is probably the safest quarterback in this year's NFL draft class. I think that he's somebody that is much safer than Levis and Richardson because they're extremely raw, and he's also safer than Bryce Young because I do worry about Bryce Young staying healthy with the amount of hits that he takes, with his style of play, given his size. I think Stroud is the type of guy that's got the NFL body you look for. He's a good mental processor. He does a really good job at layering the football. He can put touch on the football really nicely. The thing with Stroud, though, is I think the thing that's going to hold him back is his pocket presence. I think when you look at the best quarterbacks in the league, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the guys that really put up high-end numbers every single year are the guys that can maneuver in the pocket, they feel pressure extremely well, and they can throw within really tight pockets, and they can escape pockets as well. Stroud, not so great in this department. If there's pressure in his face, he can escape from time to time. He showed that in the Georgia game, but when it comes to shifting in the pocket, having really nice footwork in that way and throwing in a phone booth. I just don't see that in Stroud's game. And when you look at guys that have that as a weakness in their game, the Derek Carrs of the world, the Dak Prescotts of the world, they never make that leap from good quarterback to great quarterback. So I think with Stroud, you're getting that higher floor, but maybe you're getting a bit of a lower ceiling. And for that reason, I would probably rather go with Bryce Young if I were the Texans. Now, at number 12 overall, Daniel Jeremiah is sticking to his guns here, and he's going with the athleticism of Myles Murphy. Now, Myles Murphy has been tanking down draft boards right now because, plain simply, guys, his tape's not very good. And because of that, this is a terrible pick from Daniel Jeremiah, in my opinion. Okay, the tape, when I look at the film with Myles Murphy in 2021, it's really, really good. It reminds me a little bit of Rashawn Gary. Now, Gary's a little bit more of an athletic freak than Myles Murphy is, but Murphy's a big dude. He can power rush really well when he's healthy, but last year it just wasn't all that great. Last year, the production just simply wasn't there. The tape wasn't good. Really, with any of the Clemson defensive guys, I'm not really a fan of Brian Brzee or Trenton Simpson either. And Myles Murphy, to me, is a late first rounder for me. I think that he's got the physical upside, but I think with the production last year, I think that injury that he suffered really, really took a toll on his body. And I think that it's going to be a little bit of a long haul. He's a bit more raw than some of the other guys in this year's draft class. And for that, I would rather go with a guy like a Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech if he makes it to you at 12, or a Nolan Smith for that matter if he makes it to you. I just think Myles Murphy is a big-time reach at number 12, and I don't like that pick whatsoever. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Make sure that you are subscribed. Remember, guys, it's only going to be one channel that gets that full-time channel. So if you want that full-time channel for your Houston Texans, you got to make sure to click that subscribe button for me right now.